And welcome back for episode 18, Warhammer 40k Imperium. This will be issue number 18. We have one miniature in this issue, which will be the Necron Technomancer. We have battle games in the 41st Millennium, Necron Technomancer, read about the deadly Drukari, and rules for the Technomancer. In this issue of Imperium, you will receive the Necron Technomancer. You'll build and paint this new model before sending it to battle in a new playthrough. You'll also find out about the Space Marine's iconic power armor, learn more about the deadly Drukari, and read a story featuring the mechanical warriors of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Happy hobbying. And we have Technomancer lore, tools of war, armor and equipment, information on the Drukari, and this issue's story, March of the Machines. And we also have the Technomancer build guide, the Technomancer paint guide, and the playthrough for this issue, Hunting the Technomancer. And as far as what is in this issue here, we have the sprue for the Technomancer himself, and his little spider buddy. And that comes on a 50mm base. Do believe this is the biggest one we've had so far. See if it fits in the handle. Oh. Actually, no, it don't. No, it does not fit in the paint handle. I think the paint handle only goes up to 40mm. So we'll just have to hold that from the base. And in addition to our model this week, we also have a new fold-out playmat. About as big as the other one. This one's got this almost looks like a moon surface on one side, and on the other side this snowy wasteland. It's not used in this issue. I'm guessing it'll be once we get the plasma conduits. As you can see, one of them running here. So I'm assuming that's where that's going to go, but that is that. Okay, Technomancer, Cryptek Commander. Technomancers belong to the ranks of the Crypteks, Necrons who are masters of science and technology. They specialize in repairing damaged Necrons and Cryptek constructs on the field of battle. They are also lethal warriors in their own right. Staff of Light. This weapon absorbs energy from the surrounding environment and releases it in the form of bolts of lightning that freeze and shatter those they strike. Synaptic Cloak. This piece of Cryptek technology allows the wearer to fly. With the aid of its built-in spider construct, the cloak can also repair damaged Necrons. Cryptek Enhancements. Crypteks are important members of the Necron society. They adorn their living metal bodies with extravagant tabards, metallic tassels, and symbols of office. Crypteks. Crypteks are the scientists and engineers of the Necron race. They're able to create, manipulate, and repair the Necron's advanced technology. Endless legions of armies and Cryptek constructs. Dynastic Advisors. In addition to creating and maintaining the Necron's technology, Crypteks will often act as viziers and advisors to the Necron nobility. The most powerful and learned Necrons, or Crypteks, hold important positions in the royal courts of the great Necron dynasties. Battle Record. Bring your model to life by recording its details in the boxes below. Noble designation. Though now machines, Necron Crypteks and Nobles retain names and personalities. Refer to B background 1 to generate a name. And then we have a bequeathed name and magnificent title. Crypteks who serve dynasties are often rewarded with a title. Refer to B background 1 to generate epitaphs. Dynastic epitaph and dynastic epitaph. Okay, Technomancers possess the power to augment and repair Necron units and Cryptek constructs in the midst of battle. Ancient degradations. Necron Crypteks are sometimes prone to personality quirks. You can pick a result from the chart or roll a dice. If you can't think of what to write, choose from the charts or roll a die. Degradation chart. Obsessed with human technology, speaks to Cryptek constructs, protective of its own creations. War gear details. Use the space below to record the names of your Technomancer's Staff of Light. You can also record great deeds achieved with the war gear in games. Example, destroyed a unit of assault intercessors. Staff of Light. For more examples of weapon names, refer to backgrounds B1. Weapon designation. Weapon name D6 chart. Staff of Creation, Celestial Annihilator. Battlefield repairs. Count the number of models repaired by the Technomancer's Cryptek cloak. Record of battle. As you play games, record your Technomancer's great deeds, victories, shameful defeats, and battle damage below. Example, annihilated a Primaris lieutenant with a bolt from its Staff of Light. Cryptek cloak personalities are partially melted by plasma pistol shot. Tools of war, power armor. Even unarmored, the genetically enhanced transhuman space marines are formidable warriors who can withstand terrible punishment. When clad with a suit of ceramite power armor, however, the battle brothers of the Adeptus Astartes are almost unstoppable. Power armor. Power armor is worn by many of humanity's forces, including the Battle Sisters of the Adeptus Sororitas and many Inquisitors. The most recognizable and technologically advanced power armor, however, is worn by the Space Marines. Space Marine power armor is made from ceramite, a material that is both light and strong. Ceramite has the added benefit of being heat resistant, protecting the wearer against the majority of energy weapons. Space Marines are fitted with an implant known as the Black Carapace, which is implanted under the skin. This artificial organ bonds with the host's nervous system, where points on the carapace's surface connect to the Space Marine's power armor. This allows him to interface with his armor and move and fight as if it were part of his own body. Terminator power armor. Terminator power armor is worn only by the most decorated veterans of a chapter's first company. Terminator power armor is bulkier and more restrictive than most other forms of power armor, reducing the speed of those who wear it in battle. This reduction in speed is more than compensated for by the superior protection it provides. Terminator armor also contains built-in teleportation homers, which allow the wearer to be teleported directly onto the battlefield. Most chapters possess only a few suits of Terminator armor, and it is both incredibly rare and difficult to maintain. Tacticus power armor. Tacticus power armor was created by Archimagos Dominus Belisarius, Claw of the Adeptus Mechanicus. It was designed to equip Primaris Space Marines. Those Space Marines deployed across the galaxy as part of the Indomitus Crusade. Tacticus armor combines ancient technology utilized during the earliest days of the Imperium with newer developments in power armor. Intercessors, who are the battle line troops of most Primaris Space Marines forces, go to battle clad in suits of Tacticus armor. Tacticus armor, however, is more modular than any other form of power armor. It can be adjusted for different roles, be it scouting and reconnaissance, frontline combat, or heavy fire support. Modified suits of Tacticus armor, such as the Phobos armor worn by the Primaris Vanguard and the heavy Gravis armor worn by the Interceptors, are common. Omnis armor. Omnis armor is a jump pack and grav chute equipped version of Gravis power armor. Omnis armor also incorporates elements of Phobos pattern armor, making it lighter and quieter. Omnis pattern armor is utilized by suppressors, who are heavy weapon-carrying jump troops. Phobos armor. Phobos armor is a lighter form of Tacticus armor that sacrifices some of the base armor's durability for greater mobility and speed. It is worn by Vanguard Space Marines, who specialize in stealthy operations. The servomotors of the Phobos armor are engineered to be silent. Gravis armor. Gravis armor is a heavier form of Tacticus armor with thicker reinforced ceramite plates that provide protection that comes close to the Terminator armor. Aggressor and Eradicator close support squads wear Gravis armor in battle, as do some Primaris captains. Drukari. The Drukari are sadistic killers who feed off the despair, anguish, and suffering of their victims. Practical slavers, they raid their unsuspecting enemies with lightning speed before vanishing back into their lairs in Kamraga, a twisted city that lurks deep in the webway. Inquisitorial Report, Gallus Sharn, Ordo Xenos, Subject Drukari. Inquisitorial Report, Drukari. The Drukari are amongst the cruelest and most elusive foes to plague the Imperium. We of the Ordo Xenos believe that the origins of the Drukari race can be traced back to the fall, the apocalypse that destroyed the Eldari Empire and saw the birth of the Chaos God Slaanesh. The cruel inhabitants of Kamrag survived the fall but did not escape unscathed, their souls being slowly devoured by Slaanesh, an agonizing process that can only be halted by inflicting pain and terror on others. The Drukari utilize their knowledge of the Webway's labyrinth passages to launch raids upon Imperial settlements without warning. In their wake, they leave only ghost towns, filled with the butchered remains of their victims. The dead are fortunate, for their suffering is ended. Those taken as slaves fare far worse, for they are returned to Kamraga, where they are horribly tortured to feed on the souls of their captors. To feed the souls of their captors. Drukari, Prisoner Interrogation, DK 44131. The capture of a live Drukari subject is rare indeed. The prisoner was taken in the aftermath of a skirmish with the Inquisitorial forces. Interrogation proved fruitless, as the captive simply ran and raved like a starving beast. Before the prisoner's scheduled extermination, it spoke only of She Who Thirsts, the study of Eldari and Drukari ruins and wreckage, and information drawn from the archives of the Order Xenos suggests that this is a reference to the dark god Slaanesh. Real Space Raiders. The Drukari's race mastery of the webway allows them to raid the Imperium at will. These attacks are unpredictable and often have no military objective. Countless Imperial citizens and warriors are slain or taken as slaves with every passing year. The Soul Debt. Drukari must feed upon the pain and terror of others to sustain themselves. The colossal layers of the ruling class contain vast dungeons filled with elaborate torture chambers. These places are places of pain. These places of pain are monuments to the agony which few captives escape. Kamraga, the Dark City. Tales of the Dark City littered the archives of the Ordo Xenos. These myths and legends describe a shadowy labyrinth of dark towers, crowded slums, starship docks, and vast combat arenas. Their mountain-sized spires, Drukari nobles, known as Archons, command their mighty houses, whilst in the streets, criminal gangs fight running battles, slaughtering at will. It is said that only the strong survive in the Dark City, and the Drukari have spent a millennia pruning the weak. Report Singularity, Singatory Inquisitor Shran. March of the Machines. In the Pariah Nexus, many worlds have been scoured of life by the Necrons. Deep in the ruins of an Imperial Forge world, the armies of the Adeptus Mechanicus attempt to recover valuable weapons and technology and equipment before it is discovered and destroyed by the Necron foe. Rank upon rank of robed Skitarii soldiers strove forward through the silent depths of the Forge world, Garadar. The metallic clank of their feet, shattering the eerie silence. Sunlight broke through the soaring Gothic towers and silent Imperial factorums. Occasionally, a servo skull emerged from the overhead service hatch, rushing to complete a task assigned to it by a long-dead overseer. In the wake of the Skitarii legions, the towering Imperial Knight plodded purposely through the abandoned streets. Weapon systems and analytical devices whirring as it turned from side to side, scanning the shadows for unseen foes. Tech Priest Dominus Mateos observed the procession from the rear, his bionic eye clicking as he pored over Auspex scans and blueprints of the abandoned city. Ahead lay the prize they sought, the remains of an Adeptus Mechanicus storage facility. Within the husk of that once blistering facility lay a full shipment of precious promethium oil, or fuel. The Necrons appeared to have left their Factorum district intact, but soon their matter-devouring scarab swarms would descend upon the structure. Mateos and his maniple of heavy-armed Skitarii have been dispatched to seize and extract as much of the valuable fuel as they could carry. The Skitarii procession were less than 100 meters from this facility before a vast facade loomed out of the hazy, smog-thick air. The building's soaring towers displayed the familiar cog icon of the Adeptus Mechanicus. As soon as the Factorum came into view, Mateos' Auspex banner burst to life, emitting a static click. His bionic eyes snapped to the device's readout. Red warning runes flashed across its green display screen. Abandoned factorums. Majority of the Pry and Nexus factorum facilities have fallen silent thanks to the effects of the stilling. Their production lines and storage facilities now lie dormant. Those that have yet to be consumed by the Necron's Cryptek slave constructs remain filled with valuable weapons and equipment. Tech Priest and Technomancer raise their weapons, urging the troops forward as the battle intensifies. Warning of colossal buildup of energy. Before Mateos could issue the order to halt, the doors of the factorum exploded outwards, and the walls of the structure began to crumble. A raging torrent of liquid fire spilled forth, engulfing 2 full ranks of Skitarii warriors. Mateos shielded his eyes against the blast, ducking as chunks of masonry rained down on amongst his forces. As the scattered Skitarii dove for cover, the fields of flickering green light rippled through the ranks, and shining metallic bodies of Necron assailants silhouetted against the fiery light. Mateos seized. He had been drawn into a trap, an entire shipment of precious promethium taken in one fell swoop. The Adeptus Mechanicus' wrath would be swift and brutal. The Xenos would suffer for their impertinence. Defense pattern Theta Orion, sensors active. Prepare to repel the attackers. He croaked into his Vox unit before turning to the lumbering Imperial Knight. Knight Scion Sabara, weapons free, repel the Xenos, he hissed. The noble pilot of the gigantic walker issued no verbal response, but simply began pouring fire into the advancing Necrons, paying little heed to the unfortunate Skitarii in our line of fire. Skitarii and Necron alike fell under the onslaught, but even as the dust cloud of explosions and bullets cleared, several of the stricken Necrons began to rise from the scorched earth, their bodies knitting back together in some manner of profane Xenos technology. As the Knight's fire held the Necrons back, Skitarii warriors began to reorganize themselves. Glowing facades of radium carbine fire slowing the Necron advance. Mateos pressed through the crowd, forcing his way to the front of the line. His body was more machine than flesh. Decades of augmentation and experimentation have provided him with a metallic carapace and a series of snake-like bionic appendages that bristled with guns and razor-sharp tools. As he pressed towards the thick of the fighting, these weapons discharged themselves at nearby foes, annihilating skeletal Necrons in blasts of blinding plasma energy. Ahead, amidst the advancing aliens, a figure caught Mateos' eye, a cloaked Necron with a glowing green staff grasped in his right hand. It flew over the heads of his kin, borne aloft by an obsidian spider. As Mateos gazed upon the represent living metal form of his enemy, immense hatred consumed what remained of his organic heart. Accompanied by a burning pang of energy, here was a foe unburdened by flesh, tightening a grip on his omniscient axe. He ordered his depleted Skitarii forward. He would exact a terrible vengeance. These mechanical humans appear resistant to the effects of the Contra Empiric Matrix. Rather than collapsing to the dirt, as do soldiers of flesh, they continue to fight. Still, their true technology is no match for the might of the Zarkon. Our legions shall break their metallic forms apart and hurl them back into the stars. Zanark, Cryptek, Technomancer. Okay, now we are on to our build guide for the Technomancer. This guide will show you how to assemble your Technomancer. Follow the guide, paying close attention to the instructions as you do so. Clip the component from the sprue. Place the flat of the blade next to the component you need, and gently but firmly cut it from the plastic. Okay, components. When you've clipped all the components from the sprue, lay them out and make sure you have everything before you start assembling them. Spider legs. When assembling the spider, clip off the components number 8 and assemble them before clipping out those numbered 7. Okay, so for the spider, it says be particularly careful when assembling the legs. Although they look similar, the leg components are numbered 7 and 8 are slightly different. Make sure you pay close attention to the images and glue the legs into the correct positions. Okay, so this one need 2, 3, and 4. Nope, that's the Technomancer. There's 3. Did I miss one? There we go. There's 4. And there's 2. And as usual, just clear up where it was cut from the sprue. And yeah, this is one of the most annoying steps, but needs to be done. Excuse me. Luckily, these ones aren't too bad. Okay. Okay, so this guy's going to go right inside here. Clean up my nozzle a little bit here. Okay, now just line that notch up here. Go, and the tail goes in that notch right there. Okay, now we need 5 and 6. And just make sure when you're cutting that off, you don't snap off these mandibles here. And I guess worst case scenario, you can just glue them back on, but as I learned with those flayed ones, that's quite a pain. Okay. So this just fits on backwards. Okay, so where does it actually... Where does it actually connect? Okay, this line goes in the back towards the tail. I'm trying to see. Doesn't seem to fit right. Oh, because I'm on the wrong side. That explains it. Okay, this is an annoying one. Okay. Alright, you can kind of see these pegs coming up from the top. So okay, come on. This glue clogs up quite easily. Oh my god. Butterfingers today. There we go. Okay, now we got the glue on. Take it and kind of guide it from the inside there. Okay, they're in. Hold that for a second, let it dry. And okay, my face is pretty straightforward. Just gonna drop a glue in that indentation. Damn it. Okay, we'll let that dry. We'll get the legs. Now we want 8s first. Am I missing a leg? I think I'm missing a leg. Definitely missing a leg. I did not cut that off. Where the... Okay, this... There's 8. Oh, God. I'll deal with that in a minute. Because if that ain't here, our spider's gonna have to be crippled. Okay, the 8s both go on this side. It's these first 2 legs. Oh, come on. Yeah, because if that's not on there, I don't even know how I'd get another one. Yeah, it should be right there. I don't know. I'm gonna have to just stop the video and check all on the floor. They're pretty weak in there, so it's very possible it could have just came free from the sprue and fell somewhere. But I'll get these legs on and deal with that. Now, of course, if I don't find it, I have to ask my brother to check his, and if his is missing the same thing, then I might just have to call the company and say, hey, what the hell? But I think it's more likely it just came off. And that'll give these legs time to dry anyways. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can find that leg. Okay, so I've checked all over the floor, and it's not here, so I'm guessing that it came off in the packaging. So I emailed them. We'll see what they do. if need be, I will pay for the issue again, but I sure as hell am not going to buy a whole new Technomancer model for $35 just for that one leg. So if they do something for me, they do something. If not, this guy is going to be the first model that actually gets a name. He is going to be Gimpy, because he's missing that leg. So, alright, I've clipped everything out and dry fed it. So we're just going to go ahead and get this guy assembled here. Okay, it says hold the arm and the staff component to secure it into position whilst the glue dries. So, let's put his face in first. That looks like right here is where it's going to connect. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. Now, on his arm. Oh god, where's that? It's a very odd fit. Can't really see where. Alright. There's not really a definite place that fits into. Let's see here. I think it goes like that. Maybe his other arm will fit in a little better. Oops. Yeah, these arms have some weird fittings here. Okay, we're gonna let him dry. There we go. Oh, great. There goes the base. Okay, now the back is going to go on the spine of the spider. Those 3 pegs are going to go in these 3 holes down here. Okay. And he is going to slide into this little piece of terrain here. Like that. And that whole piece. Just going to glue right onto the base. So like there. Okay, let's check this guy. Alright. Still got a little drying to do. But he is going to glue on. So you know what? I'm just going to let that dry for a few minutes. Okay, I think that should be dry enough. So, I'm going to glue around this edge here. And there. And on him, here and here. Okay, come on. We need to, at a federal level, overreach in order to fortify the general in 2024. We need MAGA to get violent. There we go. Everybody says we're going to do X, Y, and Z. We're going to label Trump people terrorists, voting rights. I don't quite know what the plan is. And you want to get this little hose in the back of his head. But what I do know is, whatever they have in plan for still in 2024, at this point requires us to get violent. Clearly, look at all the messages. So I'm just going to take my mold line remover tool and just hold it in place until it dries. Look at everything that they're doing. They don't have enough machines. Something has fucked up their plan right now. And so now you can see their crime talk, 100%, 180 degrees. That arm. Joe Biden came out and said, oh, no, we're for law and order. It's the MAGA people who are for law and order. That's stupid. That's stupid. Okay, it's not wanting to stay in there. In areas where there's law and order. The only place where there's no law and order, these Democrat-run shitholes. That's woken up normies. And it's shaking the suburban moms. There it goes. We had a bunch of people out there who didn't care. Okay. The wine blew the fuck up. So. We had a bunch of people in the suburbs around Portland who were lefties. There we go. Zoom in a little bit. I hate Trump. I hate Republicans. But this is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, it's assembled. Minus that one leg. Their talk on crime has come. The 1970s when they were first detected. Okay, the Technomancer is assembled. I've put a coat of primer on them. And that leg, I decided I was going to wait until I figured out a replacement for it, but I figured I'll just do the painting now, avoid painting around that area, and then when I do get it replaced, I'll paint it up and glue it in. So we have How to Paint Technomancer. In this issue's paint guide, you'll be painting your new Necron Technomancer. Gather your paints and water pot and set up your painting area before you begin. As you can see, I've already done that. And we are going to be starting with Rune Lord Brass. 3 coats. Thin your paints so that it is 3 parts paint and 1 part water. Apply 3 coats and let the model dry between coats. And that is the excellent thing about this tray, is that it does come in 2 pieces. So I can store my paints on one side, and the paints I'm going to be using for a specific project I can put over here. So I have them all ready to go. And then you got these little legs, which actually, needs to slot in here. And then you got all your paints ready to go. So set that off to the side. Get this out of the way. And we'll get in a little closer there. Okay, and the first one we're starting with is Rune Lord Brass. Get my starter brush here. Get that paint really mixed up. Get our 3 parts paint. And 1 part water. And then start the base coat. Do I need to put a glove on? This is another one that would have definitely benefited from doing it in sub-assemblies. It's really tough getting around behind his head there. But just do the best I can. I mean, you really gotta look for spots, but yeah, it's really way in the back of his head there.
front of his neck too. And of course the back of his head, or the back of the front of his head. I think I got that pretty good. And like in these recesses of the chest, get too much paint pulling in there, just take a brush and kind of wick it out. I'm sure these shoulder pads are going to end up being Cryptek alloy, which is a layer paint that I haven't really seen any difference with layer paint going over another color or going straight on the primer. Yeah, there's a lot of nooks and crannies in here. Yeah, some of that's really hard to get to. This hose going to the back of his head. It's going to be easy to get the back and sides of it, but getting the inside of it, that's a different story. I am going to go ahead and finish up this base coat here and come back for the next step.
Okay, we have completed the base coat of Runelord Brass. Okay, we're on to the next step, which is a bad and black. So let's paint the joints between the armor plates. Use the final gallery at the end of this guide for reference. Paint the armored carapace on the Cryptek cloak. Make sure you get your brush underneath the panels. Okay, paint the whole of the spider construct as well as the rubble and rocks beneath the Technomancer. Paint the handle and central section of the Staff of Light. Use the gallery at the end of the paint guide for reference. Okay. So, definitely have to get a new bottle of Bad and Black after this. And just hope I have enough to finish this. And a lot of black, so I'm going to do a 6-2. Okay, there's the 6 parts paint. Two parts water. All right. I think I want to start and get this carapace out of the way. That way I can also use up what's left on the brush here after thinning it down. And that kind of works out too, because the Rune Lord brass, even the 3 coats there, came out a little thin on the one side, but I didn't bother doing another coat because I knew I was going to be getting this black over it, so not too worried about it. And obviously you want to be careful getting underneath it. Although everything under there is going to get repainted as well. The shoulder pads will be Cryptek alloy, and those little hoses there are going to be white. So, but if you miss a little bit, not a big deal. Again, getting those difficult spots to reach. Oh, getting that white hose is going to be a pain. Okay, I believe the bottom part gets it. Yeah. And the spine is going to be lead belcher, as well as that ring around the orb there. And the cloak itself is going to be Retributor armor. So, missing on those isn't a huge deal. Okay, now how difficult is that going to be to get underneath? Not too bad. Can't tell if Okay, just trying to see where the cloak ends there. It comes down in there. Okay, this one's going to be tricky. Don't want to get his arm there. But again, they can be fixed later if I think that looks good enough. Okay, well, I will go ahead and get the spider and the joints, and then we'll come back for the next color. And the black has been added. And I wasn't touched up anywhere I missed, except for spots that are going to be painted over anyways. We got some here on the cloak. But now we're moving on to Retributor Armor. It says paint the trailing sections of the cloak. Remember to paint the underside and the tassels hanging from the tabard. Okay, paint the tabard hanging from the Technomancer's waist. Turn the model around to work your brush into these areas. Okay, I just got to thin up some Retributor Armor. I think one batch of 3-to-1 might do it. There's not a whole lot going on there. All right. Just want to make sure the little careful going around the black here. And again, they can be touched up later too, so. I've become accustomed to having to go back and touch up after I've done all the colors, so. Nothing new for me. I love this gold. It's probably the best gold paint I have ever painted with. Just such a rich color. Yep, there's a touch up. Okay, that was the back of his cloak. I'll go ahead and do the underneath and those two tassels. And then I will be back for the next color. Okay, Retributor Armor is finished. Now we're on to Lead Belcher. So let's paint the tabard hanging from the Technomancer's waist. Turn the model around to work your brush into these areas. If it sounds like I just read that, it's because I did. I wrote that for the Retributor Armor. Carefully paint both ends of the Staff of Light. Refer to the gallery at the end of the paint guide for reference to make sure that you paint the correct areas. Paint the glyph engraved area located beneath the Technomancer's jaw. Avoid anything above the jawline. Use the tip of your starter brush to paint this area. And then as far as the spider goes, just paint the long spine connecting the Technomancer's cloak to the Cryptek spider. Paint the metal surrounding the central orb on the back of the cloak. Paint the joints between the spider's limbs and jaws. You will also need to turn the model over and paint the recessed areas on top of the spider. Alright. Okay. Some lead belcher. To repaint. 1 water. Let's get the back of that tabard. Man, the shadows from the cloak are driving me nuts. I have to get that with a little finer brush. Get his all his guts here. And I'm just going to paint right over that orb. It's going to be painted white later. Just makes it easier to get this little piece around it. Ah, crap. Just paint it over some black. Okay. I'm going to switch to the smaller brush. And why is that coming out so thin? I think my brush was a little too wet. I'm just getting the rust to the back of that tabard. Oh man, this one is really awkward. Hard to get a good angle on things. Okay, well that don't look too bad. But this here is still a little thin. Yeah, let that dry and come back to it. Now this orb back here. I'll try not to get any on the black and not do any more touch up than I have to, because I know there's going to be a lot of it. I'm just going to carefully go around the perimeter of it. Okay. And I don't know if the base of that hose gets lead belcher. Yes, it does. So that's just going to be kind of one of those things where you can't get all the way around it, so just get it the best you can. And hope that you can't see it. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and finish that up and get to the next part. I will finish with the lead belcher. Starting to look pretty good. And next we have Cryptek alloy. So paint the shoulders and armor plates around the head. You will need to apply 3 coats to get a good coverage with a layer paint such as Cryptek alloy. Alright, now this is the part where things are going to get a little annoying. Well, actually, after this with the white okay, there we go. Repaint 1 water. Okay, we'll start with the outside here. Yeah, really try not to get that on that black, because I really don't feel like touching that up. Well, that's just the edge. That's not too bad. Now, try and get back in behind the head here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to touch up that little collar there, right here. That is supposed to stay Ringlord brass. And I did get some Cryptek alloy on it. So that's annoying. But you want to get it comes all the way down here. Well, that looks pretty good. And on this side, you can see right where that shoulder pad ends. Yeah, it's getting some Ringlord brass touch up. I'm not being very neat with this. Okay. Alright, we'll get that 3 coats. We can get on to the... Oh, I didn't even get this whole side of the head here. And when you're doing the back of that hood, you want to make sure and get the base of all these cables too. Actually, I think it's only this one in the middle. But those cables are going to be white. But the areas where they connect, it's still going to be it's going to be either Cryptek alloy on the head or black on these plates up here. But go ahead and do the 3 coats of that and then finish up. Okay, the Cryptek alloy has been added to the shoulder and head armor. And now we have Corex White. With the metallic paint applied, you will now begin applying the final details with Corex White before applying shade paint to the sculpted rock details at the base of your Technomancer model. Paint the ends of the staff and the gems. Use the gallery on the next page as a guide to make sure you've painted all these details. Find and paint all the orbs on the body of the spider. There are several orbs inside the body of the spider and some on the head as well. Paint the rocks on the Technomancer's base. Be very careful not to paint the Necron runes emerging from between the rocks. Using the tip of your brush, paint the orbs on the back of the cloak and the cables above the head and on the back of the Technomancer. Okay. So, mix up some Corex White. 3, we'll go 6 and 2. Okay, there we go. Alright, we'll start with his head here. Get that finer detail out of the way. And it comes down on either side of his eye there. That. Actually, I'm going to have to go back and fix that because it doesn't go down the side. It's only on the front face of his head. But just all this here. But I'll just fix that after. Alright, now the fun part. Actually, these aren't as bad as I thought they would be. There's a huge gap there. And I'm not going to get all the way around them, but enough that you can look and see they're painted. Yeah, it looks like these ones do come right down to his head, or his head armor. Keep hitting that carapace there. It actually looks pretty good. Alright, and this one here. It's just going to come right up to that connection there. And do just like that. There you go. I didn't get the very back of it, but can't really tell. I mean, any parts that aren't painted, it looks like it could just be shadow. So and these orbs just go around. Try not to get too much on the that ring that's holding it in. Just pretty much push my brush down to the bottom of that recess and just trace along the outside of it. Just come back and go over the inside. Okay, I'm gonna go paint the rest of these orbs and the rocks, and then I'll be ready for some shading. Okay, we've gotten all the Corex white done. Don't think I've missed anything. Got the orbs on top and bottom. Now we have Agrax Earthshade. So apply an all-over coat of shade paint to the rocks. Some of the shade paint may pool here, but you'll be applying more paint to these rocks in a later issue. Okay. So, last thing we have to do is just shade the rocks. Okay. And there we go. All right. There's the Technomancer completed this week, anyways. And I will set up the playthrough and be right back. Okay, and we are all set for this week's playthrough, hunting the Technomancer. The battle for Magaria is spelled out across the moon's abandoned refineries and mines. Necron Technomancers patrol the battlefield, repairing damaged and fallen Necrons. The Primaris Lieutenant has been tasked with hunting down and destroying these Necron engineers. Mission briefing. The Space Marines have isolated the Necron Technomancer and have moved in for the kill. The android scientist will not be an easy target, however. Drawn by the din of battle are a trio of Scorpek destroyers, desperate to eliminate their Space Marine foes. Necron Technomancer escaped the ambush. The repair complex violated and sabotaged by the Space Marine invaders, Necron forces on Magaria have begun an all-out assault on the moon's surface, with the intention of destroying the Space Marine invaders and forcing them to retreat. Necron Technomancers are key to the assault, for they must maintain their fellow Necrons and direct the swarms of Cryptek constructs under their command. Space Marine Primaris aggressors annihilate the Technomancer. The Necron's assault's intensity has taken the Ultramarines by surprise. It appears Xenos present in the Rasmussen system is far greater than anticipated. With a major Necron offensive underway on Megaria, the Space Marines must find a way to weaken their Necron opponent. Targeting the Technomancer may slow the android's advance and give the Ultramarines a chance to regroup. Setup and data sheets. This page contains the setup instructions for the playthrough, as well as an updated data sheet for the Primaris Lieutenant and new data sheets for the Technomancer model. Read through the new data sheets carefully before you begin to follow the playthrough. Okay, 1, lay out the large battle mat. Done that. And we got to gather dice. A range ruler. And wound markers. Okay, we don't need any objectives markers, so those can be set aside. Okay, set up the terrain as shown in placing terrain. Okay, I need a better solution for storing my wound markers. All right, placing terrain. Place the crates and barrels in the positions indicated to the right. So, got one down here, one up here, and the barrels are here and here. Okay, place the containers in the positions highlighted to the right, which are here and here. Oops. Okay, terrain is set up. And let's see here. Abilities for the Technomancer, Living Metal. Gains 1 wound at the start of its turn. Cryptek Cloak. The bearer has a move characteristic of 10 inches and the fly keyword. In addition, at the end of your movement phase, you can repair 1 friendly model within 3 inches of this model. That model regains up to D3 lost wounds. Each model can only be repaired once per turn. And the Primaris Lieutenant just has a Storm Shield. It has a 4+ invulnerable save. In addition, add 1 to armor saving throws for this model. Okay, and we're ready to get started. Necrons, turn 1. The Technomancer's technical expertise will be required if the Necrons are to claim Megaria. He must reach the front line. Oh, you know what? I didn't even set up the units. Okay, Technomancer goes up here. And the Cryptek destroyers start at B. Okay, and now the aggressors. I can never remember which one is the sergeant. I thought the sergeant had something different. Ah, it's this one with that little necklace he's wearing. Okay, so the aggressors will be lined up here. Or I guess it'd be easier to remember. He's just the one with his arms down at his side. And my lieutenant is missing an arm. Yeah, it's not a very, yeah. I don't like how that arm goes in. It's very loose. I have to end up gluing that. Okay. Back to the game. The Necron Technomancer must survive until the end of the Necron player's 4th turn. Careful positioning and keeping the Scorpek destroyers alive will be key to achieving victory. Using the rules reference in A Playthrough 16, play through the move and psychic phase, no Necron units will be close enough for an enemy to shoot, charge, or fight this turn. I don't have any psychers. Unless that's, you can replay it with different units. Oh. Okay, one move. The Necron player may move all eligible units. Play through the movement phase using how to move in the rules reference. Remember that Technomancer's Cryptek cloak allows it to fly, repair friendly models, and increase its movement characteristic to 10. Playthrough example 1A move, the Scorpek destroyers and Technomancer move. Move 1B move, one of the Scorpek destroyers and its move atop a set of ammunition crates. See wobbly model below. Okay. Alright, so the Scorpek destroyers have a move of 8. So yeah, they're coming out here. And the Technomancer is going to move in behind them. He's got 10 inches. So he'll move right there. Okay, to shoot. The Necron player may shoot with all eligible units. Play through the shooting phase using how to shoot in the rules reference. The Technomancer's Staff of Light as an assault weapon. If you advance with this unit, you may be in range to shoot. But we're basically following the example, so he is not in range. There are no Necron units eligible to shoot. 3 charge. All eligible units may charge. Play through the charge phase using how to charge in the rules reference. 4 fight. All eligible units may fight. play through the fight phase using how to fight in the rules reference. Okay, this model is delicately balanced on terrain. Players can agree to place it in a safer position. Wobbly models. You may find that some terrain features make it hard for you to place a model exactly where you want. A delicately balanced model may fall over when someone nudges the table. In cases like this, provided it is still physically possible to place the model in a desired location, you may find it helpful to leave the model in a safer position, so long as both players agree and know its actual location. If later on an enemy model shoots at the model, you may have to hold it back in place so that you can check visibility. Okay, Space Marines turn 1. The Space Marines seek to destroy the Technomancer before it reaches the rest of the Necron forces and begins to repair its android kin. 1 move. The Space Marine players may move all eligible units, play through the movement phase using the how-to move in the rules reference. Remember that models with assault weapons, such as the aggressors, can advance and shoot. Okay, playthrough example, move 1A move, the lieutenant makes a normal move. 1B move, the Primaris aggressors advance. Okay, so the lieutenant has a move of 6. So he's gonna go right there. And the aggressors are gonna roll for an advance. 4 with their base move of 5. So that gives them 9 inches. They're going to take the full advance. Okay, to shoot. The Space Marine player may shoot with all eligible units. Play through the shooting phase using the how-to shoot in the rules reference. Remember that aggressors can make a random number of attacks with their Flame Storm gauntlets. Okay, playthrough example, 2A shoot. The lieutenant and the aggressors shoot at the Cryptek destroyers. 2B shoot. 1 Cryptek destroyer is destroyed, and the other suffers 2 wounds. Okay. Well, let's start with the lieutenant. He's got 15-inch range, so he could hit just about anybody, but he's going to go for the Cryptek destroyers. His weapon is Pistol 2 with a strength of 5. The Cryptek destroyers also have a toughness of 5. So that's going to be a 4 on the wounds. Okay, gets 2 hits. And 1 wound. It has no armor penetration. Cryptek destroyer has a save of 3. So no damage done from the Neo-Volkite pistol. And the aggressors are using the Flamestorm gauntlets. And it is a D6 attacks. Okay, so we got 14 attacks, or 14 hits. The special ability with the Flamestorm Gauntlets is that for each attack that's made, it automatically hits. So we got to roll for 14 wounds. And the strength on it is only 4. So they're needing 5 or better to wound. Oh, that was a 6. And that was only 12 dice. I still have 2 more to roll. Okay, 4 wounds. And there's some... Okay, yeah, no armor penetration on it. So again, they need 3s to save. Wow, I'm just attacking my terrain. Okay, they get 2 saves. Just fix these barrels here. Okay, so we are going to say that this guy here gets 2 wounds, and I believe they have 3 wounds total. Yes. Okay. That attack did not go nearly as well as it did in the example. Okay, charge. All eligible units may charge. Play through the charge phase using how to charge in the rules reference. Doesn't give an example for the... Oh, they can't charge because they advanced. Okay. Yeah, I guess that'll be it. Okay, Necron's turn 2. As his Scorpek destroyers advance upon the enemy, the Technomancer raises his Staff of Light and unleashes its power. The Technomancer may use his Cryptek cloak to repair the damaged Scorpek destroyers, as well as firing on the Space Marines with his Staff of Light. Using the rules reference, play through the move and shoot phase of the Necron's turn. Use the playthrough examples below as a guide as you play through each phase. 1 move. The Necron player may move all eligible units. Necron models with the living metal ability regain 1 lost wound. Play through the movement phase using how to move in the rules reference. Remember the Technomancer's Cryptek cloak allow it to fly, heal friendly models, and increase its movement characteristic to 10. Playthrough example, the wounded Scorpek destroyer heals 1 wound due to living metal. 1B move, both Necron units move towards the Space Marines. 1C move, at end of movement phase, the Technomancer uses its Cryptek cloak to heal the wounded Scorpek destroyers. The model regains 1 wound. How to Cryptek cloak. Pick a friendly unit within 3 inches of this model. If that model has lost wounds, roll a d3, and the damaged unit regains this many wounds. Okay, so we got 8 and 10 for the movement. So they want to move to within attack range. So, yeah, that's plenty of room for them to get right up in their face. And he's going to move back here. He's down to 1 wound now because he healed with the living metal ability. So the Technomancer's gonna repair the other wound. Got a 4, it would heal for 2, but he was only down 1 wound, so technically didn't even have to roll for that. Okay. Shoot. The Necron player may shoot with all eligible units. Play through the shooting phase using how to shoot in the rules reference. Remember that models with the character keyword cannot be targeted if they are within 3 inches of a friendly unit. Shoot. The Technomancer shoots at one of the aggressors with its Staff of Light. One of the aggressors loses a wound. Well, let's see what we can do about that. Okay, his staff is Assault 3, Strength 5, Armor Penetration 2. Alright. What is his ballistic skill? Is 3. Ooh, 3 hits. And he needs 3 to wound. He got 2 wounds. Okay, so he is at... He's got 2 wounds here. Save is 3 plus. But with the armor penetration, it's 5 plus. Okay. So, saves 1 of the wounds. The aggressors have 3 wounds. So he is just down 1. Yeah, we'll put it on this guy over here. Okay, Necron's turn 2. The Cryptek destroyers charge towards the Space Marines and engage them in vicious melee combat. Charge. The Necron player may move all eligible units, play through the movement phase using how to charge in the rules reference. Remember that if an enemy unit finishes its charge within 3 inches of a friendly unit with the character keyword, that character may choose to make a heroic intervention. Charge. Cryptek destroyers charge the aggressors. 3B charge. The Technomancer chooses not to charge. Okay. They really don't need to charge. They're already in melee combat range. The Necron player, or for fight, the Necron player may charge with all eligible units. They may fight with eligible units. Play through the fight phase using how to fight in the rules reference. Remember that the charging unit always fights first, and both players get to fight with eligible units. Play through example for a fight. The Cryptek destroyer fight first. 2 aggressors are destroyed. For a B fight, the remaining aggressor fights back, and 1 Cryptek destroyer is destroyed. Okay, and that is end of the playthrough. For the Technomancer to win, he has to survive to the end of his turn 4. Alright, this is where it's going to start to hurt. Cryptek destroyers have 3 attacks. And they are hitting on 3s. Okay. So they got 7 hits. and they are stronger than the aggressors. Actually, no. Aggressors only have a 4 strength, but a 5 toughness. So it's even, so they need 4s to wound. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, God. Every single one was a wound. Oh, my God. Okay, so 2 of those, actually, you know what? I have to take that attack back, because I don't know how many of those attacks came from the Reap Blade, which not only has a different armor penetration, but also a different damage. Okay, so we're going to roll the Reap Blade first. Okay, 2 hits on the Reap Blade. 1 wound on the Reap Blade. And that's a 4, so there's no way to make a save on that. Does 3 damage, so it's gonna kill this guy. Okay, and then I will roll the 2 thrashers. Oh my God. 5 hits. And strength is user, so it's even again. Oh, okay. 3 hits. Alright, now this only has an armor penetration of 3. So they can save on 6. 1 save. Okay, so 2 hits do 2 damage, or 3 damage each. Ooh. Yeah, so that is going to kill both of them. That is very, very unfortunate. I don't think the lieutenant's going to take on 3 Scorpex. And he can't even target the Technomancer. Unless he could flank him and make it so that he is closest to the Technomancer, but I don't see that happening. Alright, so he's gonna go down fighting at least. With the pistol to miss. Alright, and he's gonna charge in. And go at him with his master crafted power sword. Oh, there's nah, I thought the power sword had another ability. Okay, he gets 4 hits. And the power sword is a strength 5, so it's even. Oh no, but strength is +1, which is still 5. Okay, so he gets 2 hits. Or 2 wounds, rather. Has armor penetration of 3, so he needs 6 to save. Gets 1 save. Oh, God. Alright, well. He took 1 wound, but it's going to heal at the beginning of his turn anyway. Okay, 2 hits with the reap blade. And yeah, it's 1 hit. And he's going to roll invulnerable save. And he makes it. Okay. So he saved from that attack. Now 2 thrashers are coming at him. With 4 hits. And 2 wounds. And again, he's rolling a vulnerable save. Oh, I forgot. It then wasn't relevant, but I forgot to add the +1 of those saving throws. Okay. The +1 did not help him. So he took 2 wounds, and it's 2 damage apiece. That's 4 damage. He's down to 1. And no way to heal. Okay, now the Technomancer's turn. He heals from living metal. And the Technomancer is going to shoot him with the Staff of Light for 2 hits. And his strength is lower. No, it's the same. It's the aggressors that have 5 toughness. Okay, it doesn't matter. He doesn't wound. Okay, going into the fight phase. The Reap Blade. It's 2 hits. 2 wounds. Rolling invulnerable save. Oh my god, same roll again. Okay. Well, I know when Space Marines are beat. He is killed by the Cryptek destroyers. And, advance to the end of turn 4. The Necrons win this week's playthrough. So that was issue 18 of Warhammer 40k Imperium. I'll be back next week with the next one. We'll see you then.